The world's most expensive watches are not just accessories anymore, they are billionaire trophies. Some cost more than Bugattis, private jets, and luxury mansions combined. And today we are counting down the watches so insane that even millionaires struggle to buy them. And before we start, subscribe to the channel because we're diving deep into the world of extreme luxury every single week. Jacob and Co Billionaire watch. This watch literally looks illegal to own. The Jacob and Co Billionaire watch is covered in over 260 carats of emerald-cut diamonds, making it one of the flashiest watches ever created. The entire bracelet sparkles like a portable diamond vault. Even celebrities stop and stare when this thing appears in public. The price is around $18 million. Floyd Mayweather owns one, and honestly, it matches his personality perfectly. But what makes this watch crazy is not just the diamonds. Inside is a fully skeletonized tourbillon movement, meaning the entire mechanical system is exposed and moving constantly. So while most diamond watches sacrifice craftsmanship, this one combines both engineering and pure flex culture together. The watch even has a 1-minute flying tourbillon, which is one of the hardest complications to build in luxury watchmaking. Every tiny part inside is hand-finished and designed to be visible from almost every angle. The diamonds are not randomly placed either. Each emerald-cut stone is carefully matched for clarity, size, and color, so the entire watch looks perfectly uniform. What is wild is that this thing is less of a watch and more of a statement piece for billionaires and celebrities. You do not wear this to check the time. You wear it so the entire room notices your wrist before you even speak. The craftsmanship alone takes hundreds of hours, and the security around owning one is probably crazier than owning a supercar. There are luxury watches, and then there is this rolling diamond explosion sitting in its own category. Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime. Patek Philippe is the definition of old money luxury. Billionaires and royal families fight for these watches because they are handmade in extremely limited numbers, but the Grandmaster Chime sits above everything else they make. This watch contains 20 complications including multiple time zones, perpetual calendars, alarms, and minute repeaters. It is basically a supercomputer disguised as a watch. One version sold for $31 million at auction. That makes it one of the most expensive wristwatches ever sold in human history. The craziest part is that collectors often never wear these watches. They store them in private vaults because every year the value keeps climbing higher. The level of craftsmanship inside this watch is almost impossible to comprehend. Every tiny component is hand-finished by master watchmakers, and some pieces take years to complete. Even the movement alone contains hundreds of microscopic parts working together with insane precision. What makes Patek Philippe even more powerful is exclusivity. You cannot just walk into a store with money and buy the rarest models. In many cases, you need years of purchase history and relationships with dealers just to be considered. That scarcity is exactly why collectors treat these watches like financial assets. Some rare Patek models increase in value faster than luxury cars, gold, or even real estate. Celebrities, oil tycoons, royal families, and tech billionaires all compete for the same limited pieces. Owning one is not just about telling time. It is a status symbol that quietly says you belong to a completely different level of wealth. And unlike flashy diamond watches, the Grandmaster Chime looks surprisingly elegant and understated. Most people would never realize they are looking at a watch worth tens of millions of dollars. Richard Mille, RM5602 Sapphire. Richard Mille completely changed luxury watches by making them look futuristic instead of classic. And the RM5602 Sapphire might be the wildest one they ever built. The entire case is made from transparent sapphire crystal, not glass, actual sapphire. The movement inside appears to float in the air because it is suspended using braided cables inspired by suspension bridges. The watch costs around $2 million. Only a handful exist worldwide, which instantly made it a celebrity favorite. Rappers, athletes, and billionaires love Richard Mille because the watches scream money without needing diamonds everywhere. Even tennis players wear them during matches because they are incredibly lightweight despite looking impossible to wear. And here's the craziest part. Despite looking like a fragile piece of futuristic art, the watch is engineered to survive serious shock and movement. Building a sapphire case this complex is insanely difficult because sapphire is extremely hard to machine and polish. A single case can take hundreds of hours to produce perfectly. The transparent design also exposes every tiny mechanical component, meaning the finishing has to be flawless from every angle. There is nowhere for imperfections to hide. Rolex Daytona, Paul Newman. Today, this watch is legendary, but years ago, dealers could barely sell them. The Rolex Daytona. Paul Newman became famous because actor Paul Newman wore one constantly during racing events and public appearances. Then in 2017, his original watch appeared at auction. It sold for $17.8 million. That sale shocked the entire luxury world. Suddenly, the Daytona became one of the most desirable watches on Earth. And here's the funny part. Compared to modern luxury watches, it actually looks simple. No diamonds, no crazy colors, just timeless design and history. That proves one thing about luxury watches: story matters just as much as materials. Today, collectors treat the Rolex Daytona like a piece of history, not just a watch. People are not only buying gold, steel, or mechanics, they are buying the story attached to it. When Paul Newman wore that Daytona on racetracks for years, it gave the watch a personality that money alone cannot create. That emotional connection is what turned a once slow-selling model into one of the most valuable watches ever made. Even younger collectors who never watched Paul Newman race still recognize the legend behind it. In the luxury world, rarity helps, but cultural impact creates obsession. A watch can have diamonds and still feel empty, while a simple design with the right history becomes priceless. That is why some vintage watches keep increasing in value decade after decade. Graff Diamonds Hallucination. This is probably the most insane watch ever made. The Graff Diamonds Hallucination contains over 110 carats of rare colored diamonds, including pink, blue, green, and orange stones placed across a platinum bracelet. The price is $55 million. Yes, $55 million for a watch. At that point, you are not buying a timepiece anymore. You are basically wearing a museum collection on your wrist. The diamonds themselves are so rare that assembling them into one watch took years. Security around this watch is absolutely insane whenever it appears publicly. Collectors say some of the diamonds inside this watch are rarer than famous artworks. Only a tiny number of people on Earth could even afford to insure something like this. The watch shines so brightly under light that it almost looks unreal in videos and photos. Many luxury experts consider it one of the most outrageous jewelry watches ever created. And somehow, the next watch on this list still manages to look even crazier. For ultra-rich collectors, owning this watch is the ultimate symbol of wealth, power, and exclusivity. And if you're enjoying this list so far, hit subscribe because the next watch makes even diamond watches look normal. Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Concept. The Royal Oak changed luxury forever by proving steel sports watches could become status symbols. But the Concept series takes things to another level entirely. These watches look like they came from the year 2100. Open-worked movements, aggressive case shapes, and insane engineering make them favorites among athletes and celebrities. Some versions cost over $500,000. Collectors love them because Audemars Piguet keeps production extremely limited. The company understands scarcity creates obsession. That is why waiting lists for certain Royal Oaks can stretch for years. The Royal Oak changed luxury forever by proving steel sports watches could become status symbols. But the Concept series takes things to another level entirely. These watches look like they came from the year 2100. Open-worked movements, aggressive case shapes, and insane engineering make them favorites among athletes and celebrities. That is why waiting lists for certain Royal Oaks can stretch for years. What makes the Concept line even crazier is the materials. Some models use forged carbon, ceramic, titanium, and shock-resistant components inspired by Formula One engineering. The movements are designed to be visible from almost every angle, turning the inside of the watch into the main attraction. Every gear, spring, and bridge feels like mechanical art. You can recognize a Royal Oak Concept from across a room. Despite the futuristic design, each piece is still hand-finished using traditional Swiss techniques that take hundreds of hours to complete. Vacheron Constantin Berkeley Grand Complication. This is not just a luxury watch, it is a mechanical monster. The Vacheron Constantin Berkeley Grand Complication contains over 2,800 components and took years to develop. It includes dozens of complications, including astronomical tracking functions most people will never even understand. The price is estimated around $20 million. What makes watches like this special is the level of human craftsmanship involved. In a world full of smartphones and smartwatches, these mechanical masterpieces still dominate because people admire the obsession required to create them. Luxury watches stopped being about time a long time ago. They became symbols of power, exclusivity, and identity. Billionaires buy them because they are rare. Celebrities buy them because they attract attention. Collectors buy them because values keep exploding. And honestly, some of these watches feel more like wearable art than actual products. But the craziest thing is that this market keeps growing every single year. Because no matter how advanced technology becomes, there will always be people willing to spend millions just to wear something nobody else can have.